Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. Today's episode I'm going to showcase to you Yee's incredible RedSea Reefer 250. Alright, thank you for joining me on another episode of Parker's Reefs, and I feel like this one has been far too long in the making. One thing I absolutely love to do on this channel is to get out to fellow hobbyists reef tanks and document them to share with you out there at home, and unfortunately with our restrictions that's been a little bit difficult of late. Now, I found myself in an unusual circumstance over the last couple of months where I've been flat out building battery backups of all sizes for different reefers all across the country, from tiny little ones that fit into your hand to ones that back up your entire house. Now, one such customer was Yee, and one thing led to another after designing and building and supplying his battery backup that we got talking about his reef tank, as you tend to do, and I managed to convince him into sending me some information, some photos and some video of his tank that I then managed to convince him into letting me put together to a little bit of a showcase on YouTube for you guys at home. So let's roll the footage. I'm going to talk you through the history of Yee's tank, some of the equipment, some of the fish and corals, and just generally what I would do if I was there in person. I'll roll the footage. I hope you enjoy it, guys. Alright, here we are, Yee's RedSea Reefer 250 in all of its glory. Now you can see that this tank is currently a mixed reef, but I would probably call it LPS dominated, with such a gorgeous collection of acans, zoas, trackies, symphilias, lobos, hammers, you name it, it's in there. There's also some absolutely gorgeous SPS growing out here. I really love that fire truck up there, beautiful PC rainbow. That red cap's just got some crazy structure to it. We've got some birds of paradise and some pokey in there, as well as some other bits and pieces. Gorgeous little Wilsoni down the bottom there. Look at the colours in that. Some scollies and trackies just perched up on these mounds of zoas. So absolutely gorgeous collection of corals and zoas that Yee tells me that he added at the start for them being easy and full of colour, but some of them have run wild in the system and are growing all over the rocks. But I guess there are worse problems to have, particularly when you get such contrasting colours in between your SPS colonies like you can see up there. Simply beautiful indeed. There's some crazy goni in this system too. That red one over the back there is an absolutely shining example, quite like the bubblegum digi up there between the red cap. Have a look at this gold chalice there just glowing away, and there's a green torch hiding up the back too. There's a little fox flame frag there which has just started encrusting, which is nice to see. Even some button scollies, some recordias, some rhodactis and morphs along the base here. That gold and maroon lobo is an absolute showpiece, and some of the different variants of acans in the system there, very nice. You can see a Space Invaders, a Raja Rampage chalice in the background there. That lobo on the corner is an absolute showpiece as well. But let's jump back in time a little bit, because the tank didn't always start off here. Now, Yee tells me that he bought this system way back in 2018, second-hand, as a system that had everything you need with nothing else to spend. It was going to be a, inverted commas, cheap pathway into the hobby. Now, I know a few of us have been in that position before, and in the early days he started off by just adding a lot of coral and then was slowly watching it deteriorate and replacing it. Now, after about a year of doing that, Yee decided to slow down, let the tank mature and start doing things properly. Now, that was probably the best decision he made, and you can see as a result the tank absolutely came to life here in these last couple of pictures leading up to where we are today with the latest picture there. And the health and colour in his corals are a great testament of just giving the system that time to mature. Have a quick look at some of the equipment in here, running a Deltec 900i skimmer. Yee's a big believer of keeping it simple, so the sump itself is not overly complicated at all. We've got some mechanical filtration there, the skimmer and heater. The skimmer is running a CO2 scrubber. There's a little bit of ceramic media in there for some biofiltration. You can see some ATO managed by Tunzi there. Up above that, we've got all of the access to the power boards and connectors there, because this system is now completely backed up on that huge battery backup. I also really like these full full arm length gloves there, which is something I might need to incorporate into my system. Let you reach any part of your tank without getting any of your skin oils or contamination into the system. There's also some Triton elements there, as well as some nitrate, which he tells me he needs to dose fairly frequently because this system is not registering any nitrates at all. Over to the left, we've got a Halia chiller running at 24.3, which is fairly cool indeed. And up above the system, we are running some lights. Just want to pan in a little bit here on, there's only 2 wave makers in this system currently, or when this video was filmed. I suggested the tank, particularly for the SPS, could do with a little more flow. So the RedSea Reef Wave 25 and that Tunzi 6040 has been supplemented now with 2 more 6055s from Tunzi. Over in the right-hand cabinet here, we've got the GHL Profilux 4, the KH Director and the doser there, managing the alkalinity, calcium, magnesium and bromine supplementation that this system is going through. Jump back in, having a look at the end here, get a closer look at that Lobo there. What an absolutely gorgeous piece, or Lobo or Symphilia. Either way, very similar species. You can see the blaster there. The piece I called a fire truck earlier, it looks somewhere between a fire truck and a fireworks. Up above, we are running an interesting combination of lighting here. We've got 2 XR15 blue radians and a Prime 16. Either way, it gives quite a nice look to the tank, particularly if you really like that blue spectrum, which being an LPS-dominated system, this tank is absolutely glowing with that very rich blue spectrum. Future plans for the system, Yi tells me, is to really knuckle down on the balance and stability so we can get these SBS up higher on the bombies really growing out, much like that red cap currently is. If you can get things like that fireworks or fire truck, the bubblegum digi, the PC rainbow, and a few other bits and pieces in there, even the fox flame really growing in to fill up the top half of this scape, just to give it a little bit of a dynamic appearance with the SBS up top and things like that gorgeous Raja Rampage chalice growing down the bottom. It's going to be a pretty much complete system, and I couldn't think of anything more I would personally want to add to it. So I guess SBS is a challenge. I did touch on before that after reviewing the footage, Yi and I got talking, and I suggested that he add a bit more flow to the system. The 16040 Tunzi and the Reef Wave 25, whilst it looked like to give the system enough flow for the LPS, I think the SBS will benefit from a little bit more. So since then, he has added 2 Tunzi 6055s. I want to just go over some of the fish in the system as we change to the DSLR camera now. You can see that gorgeous yellow tang there, quite an iconic fish these days with the situation we are in. We've got a school of lyre-tail anthias there. One of them has become a male. Yi tells me that's after the other male jumped out of the system, which is something, I guess, unusual. The blue tang there is the biggest sook of the system. That little nook in the rockwork is where he likes to hide. So anything that happens around the tank that he's not comfortable with, he goes and hides in the rockwork there, which I guess is a fairly common reaction from a lot of blue tangs. They always seem to be slightly odd fish. I think Finding Dory got that right. With the way they portrayed that fish, just a quick look at that Lobo or Symphilia down there, absolutely stunning piece. And let's have a look there at that Raja Rampage chalice. What a gorgeous piece with the recordia up above it. Both of them showing the golds and the greens. There's another fish there, little Royal Grammar, quite a cryptic little character, has found his way out. And one last look at some of the LPS along the base of this system just before we wrap the video up. And what a stunning collection it is. I know the blue spectrums really do bring out some of the colors in LPS, and when you've got high-end LPS like this, just littered from one end of your tank to the other, it just makes it an absolute rainbow of colors. None more so than that little Wilsoni. I know they're such a gorgeous coral. Once they acclimate into reef tank temperatures, they just showcase the color. You can see that fox flame there and the rock starting to encrust, which will be pleasing signs indeed for Yi, as I know SBS growth is definitely the focus of this tank heading into the future. Alright guys, there it is. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe not quite the same as being there in person, and I totally feel your pain. I wish I could have been, but hey, it's a beautiful reef tank nonetheless, and I really did thoroughly enjoy sharing it with you. If you'd like to see your tank featured on this channel, I would love to chat to you about how you can send me some high quality footage that I can then put together to produce a video just like the one you watched then. If you want to reach out to me in the comment section down below, I'll be sure to reply to you there. If you have any questions for myself or Yi about his system, his battery backup, or anything at all, feel free to pop into the comment section down below. I do personally reply to each and every one down there, so it is the best way to get hold of me. Other than that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up for Yi. And of course, if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any future videos, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, guys, stay safe and keep reefing. Bye.